This is something you've been working towards for several months now. How are you feeling?
Well, today's a landmark day for our city. After today, 5 million Londoners will be breathing cleaner air. I mean, I just spent some of the time this morning speaking to a paediatrician, a doctor that runs an asthma clinic, but also Rosamond Adokisi Deborah, who tragically lost her daughter in 2013. So it's a bit emotional because they've been lobbying and campaigning for years now. And what we know is, it's quite clear, the consequences of air pollution. What we know is, from the evidence, is ULEZ is successful and a game changer in reducing air pollution, and today is really important in ensuring that those in outer London see some of the benefits that those in central and inner London have seen.
How will you measure the success of this policy? Is there a percentage of pollution that you're looking to reduce by a particular point?
I'm also quite clear that, listen, I'm not somebody who's an ideological politician. Yes, I've got strong convictions, but I look at the evidence. It's really important that we look at the evidence, whether it's free school meals or whether it's the ultra emission zone. So what we did with the central London ULEZ and the inner London ULEZ is there's work done after the first month to see the number of vehicles that are compliant, non-compliant. Then after a year, you can see that there's enough evidence in relation to the air quality differences made. And so we'll do what we did with ULEZ in central London and inner London, which is in real time to measure the effectiveness of these policies. It's really important we do that because we want to make sure this policy works.
It's also been a controversial policy. What's your message to people today who are still unhappy that this is happening?
But can I just be quite clear, as I've said on a number of occasions in the past, the decision to expand the ULEZ was a difficult one. It wasn't an easy one. It's one of the most difficult decisions I've made as mayor. It's a vital one, though. It's the right one, because I've seen the consequences of air pollution from the bereaved families. 4,000 premature deaths, roughly speaking. Children with stunted lungs I've met. Adults with asthma, heart disease, cancer, dementia attributable to air pollution. I've visited inpatient wards. I've been to Great Ormond Street. I've been to the Children's Evelyn Hospital. I've spoken to paediatricians. I've spoken to GPs. I've spoken to health practitioners. I've spoken to scientists. I've spoken to the Chief Medical Officer. I've listened to the World Health Organization. But I also recognise there are Londoners with genuine concerns. And I've sought to listen and respond, whether it's the scrappage scheme I announced in January, the biggest ever when I announced it, the expansion of that scheme in July. We're confident low-income families, disabled people, micro-businesses, charities were receiving the support, and the further expansion just a few weeks ago. And I'm going to carry on listening and responding accordingly.
Now, this is an issue that's obviously really close to your heart, and you've written a book about the topic. If this policy does cost you the next mayoral election, will it have been worth it?
I'm quite clear. I'm not some sort of evangelical, green prophet. I'm not the perfect green activist. But it's really important to recognise that of the course of the last 200 years, our city's made brave decisions in the past. In the middle of the 19th century, you could smell the problem, the great stink. And it was a brave generation of politicians that built sewers that addressed that problem, that was leading to thousands of premature deaths by cholera. In the middle of the last century, the great smog caused by power stations in the centre of our city. Brave politicians passed the Clean Air Act, and that removed power stations from the centre of our city. I was part of that generation of MPs in the noughties who voted to ban smoking in public places that were enclosed. Brave decision made by the Labour government. Then I think this decision is as big as that in relation to an invisible killer. You can't see the problem, you can't smell the problem, but it's there. And I know that the scientists, the experts, the bereaved families and others are on our side, but also I know that the silent majority of Londoners support cleaner air, support our policies to tackle cleaner air. My job over the next few months is to campaign on my track record, whether it's the free school meals that will start from next week, whether it's cleaning up the air in our city, whether it's the record number of mentors in our city, the record number of investment in our policing, record numbers of affordable homes, record numbers of council homes. An election is fought on a number of issues. It's not a referendum.